Hello, one of my favorite times of the year, and that is because it's blackberry season. Look at this mixing bowl. This was just a little bit this afternoon after I worked at my daughter's and son-in-law's house, and that house they bought in their land, doing some clearing and things. Then come home and I could see that there was some ripe ones at their house, and she was picking when I left, and my neighbor had told me yesterday he'd picked a couple of gallons in his back pasture. So you people that's picked them before, you know how it is. You have to wait for them, and they turn red. They're green and then red, and then they turn black. And when they do, man, you got to go to picking, because the black ones that are there, they'll dry up fast after that. They don't stay ready but a couple of days. And then you can pick, and maybe not the next day, but the next day, you got to pick that same patch again. And so anyway, I got these here, and I'm gonna clean them and put them in a little plastic bags. I just dump them. Dump them in the water. And what that does, dumping them in the water like that, if you've missed any twigs or any leaves or something like this right here, they'll float. If there happens to be a bug in there, he'll float up out of it too. And so you just put them in there and swish them around, and anything that's not a good berry will float to the top. And most of the berries sink. There's a few float, but most everything that floats is trash that you don't want in there anyway. So, all this makes me think about when I was a kid. Of course, everything makes me go to reminiscing, but it makes me think of when I was a kid and blackberries used to get ripe. Everybody in the country back then picked the blackberries. I mean, when they got ready, they get ready pretty well the whole area. And people would be stopped in their cars, have the kids out there with pans. They would be picking berries. Even if you didn't own land, you could still pick berries, because you drive down the county roads or the highways, the berry vines usually grow around a fence row, because they're protected from after you clip them down. If you clip them with a mower, they don't really come back good. They have to be in like a wild area or under a fence where they can't be mowed, and they can grow like that. Now, blackberries are wild. I believe we've got about 2 different species here. One's a little small one, and one's the bigger one, about as big as your thumb. And if you're picking them, you want them big ones, but you can't always have them. But they do grow together. And once you find them big ones, you can start making some headway on your pan there. And this year, they were really good. It didn't take me that long to pick those. And most of the time, I was down on my knees because my back would start hurting. They were so thick. And that's what you want. Before they ever get ready, and you're driving in your car or in your own pasture or whatever, I picked these up there in the end of an old roping pen that we used to have. And those are growing in some, it's on the side of an old clay hill. And so they don't have to have good dirt to grow. Even though the rest of our place is good soil. It was good for raising corn when we used to raise that and everything. But that one space up there, it was kind of clay, and but they still grew good there. And back before they get ready, you look for white blooms. As you're driving around, you might make a mental note. Yeah, so-and-so stretch of road, got a lot of blooms there. So it ought to have some blackberries. Well, if you don't have a frost, then you'll do all right. But the thing about it, we have a late frost a lot of times. and it messes them up. So when you do have a year like this, you have to get after it and put up as many as you can, because you might have a frost the next 2 or 3 years. And but the good thing about it is they keep well in the deep freeze. You can make jelly out of them, and you can make blackberry cobbler. I'm not much of a cook, but I have learned to make blackberry cobbler. Of course, the recipes are online and everything. And for me, I didn't know how to make a crust and didn't figure crust would turn out too good. So I buy that roll crust and cut it up in strips and put it in there. And it's as simple as that, and the blackberries and sugar and a little vanilla and a lot of sugar. You think that's too much, but no, it ain't. It takes a lot of sugar. And butter. So sugar, butter, vanilla, blackberries, what can go wrong, huh? And I like mine with a lot of dough, so I'll make mine with a couple of layers of dough in there. And some people like theirs with a lot of berries. They don't care about the dough that much. They like the berries in there. And it's good on a lot of stuff, and it's good by itself, and it's good with some bluebell. Get that hot cobbler and some bluebell ice cream on there. Those go pretty good together too. But what I was thinking today was how, just like I said, my neighbor and my daughter was picking berries. I didn't see anybody else on the road picking berries anywhere, even though I've noticed whole fields white before now. But back in the day, when people, what they say, still could work and still would, they would get out and get after those berries. That was before people started getting everything give to them. They tell me that now you can call a guy and tell him, said, hey, you want some fish? And he'll go, yeah, I want some fish. Are they dressed? And you go, no, you're gonna have to dress them. Well, I don't have time right now. I'll get them another time. And but anyway, they're good. They're ready. This is like the end of April, and so that's when ours get ready. And it's what I love about it so much is that I didn't plant them, I didn't water them, I didn't fertilize them, I didn't plow them, I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was just pick them. And that's a pretty nice gift that we're given, I think. Y'all have a good night.